this matter from Barbados, the applicant, Mr. Baggio Daniel, applied for special leave to appeal to the CCJ. On the 21st of October 2019, Mr. Daniel was convicted by a jury for murder contrary to the Offences Against the Person Act. He was sentenced to 21 years and 98 days imprisonment on the 2nd of November 2020. On appeal, the Court of Appeal of Barbados affirmed his conviction and sentence. He applied for special leave to appeal to the CCJ against the written decision of the Court of Appeal of Barbados. Upon review of his application, the Caribbean Court of Justice ordered that the hearing of the special leave application be treated as the hearing of the appeal. Mr. Daniel contends that his conviction is unsafe because the trial judge 1. Misdirected the jury on the constitutional right to counsel by delegating the legal question of whether his constitutional right had been breached to the jury. 2. Misdirected the jury on circumstantial evidence. He contends that the cumulative effect of these errors, together with the Court of Appeal's failure to correct them and its reliance on a confession which he maintains was coerced, resulted in a miscarriage of justice.
Afternoon, Madam Deputy Registrar, would you please call the proceedings?
Good afternoon, President. Caribbean Court of Justice, Appellate Jurisdiction, delivery of reserved judgment in CCJ application BBACR number 2 of 2025 between Baggio, Kristidi, Daniel, and the state. The members of this afternoon's panel are Mr. Justice Anderson, President, and the presiding judge.
Good afternoon, Counsel.
Madam Justice Raj Nasli.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Madam Justice Ononawu.
Good afternoon, everyone.
And Mr. Justice Walken.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Counsel, may we have the appearances, please? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Your Honors. Madam Gordon, appearing on behalf of Mr. Baggio Daniels. Also with me today, Ms. Britton, Ms. Smart.
Thank you, Mr. Gordon.
Good afternoon, Your Honors. If it pleases this honorable court, I appear on behalf of the respondent in this matter, Crystal Delaney, and with me is Mr. Neville Watson.
Thank you, Ms. Delaney. Counsel, we have a decision for you. The judgment of the court was written by my brother, Mr. Justice Arif Balkan, and I will now call upon him to deliver the judgment of the court. Judge?
Thank you, President. Good afternoon again, everyone. What follows is a summary of the decision, and as you all know, it's not intended to be a substitute for the reasons of the Caribbean Court of Justice, nor is it to be used in any later consideration of the court's reasons. This was a special leave application from Barbados, and this court directed that the hearing of the application be treated as the hearing of the appeal. The appellant was convicted of murder and sentenced to 28 years imprisonment. His conviction, based on eyewitness testimony and a confession statement was upheld by the Court of Appeal of Barbados. He appealed to this court, contending that his trial was unfair due to errors relating to the treatment of his confession, an alleged breach of his constitutional right to legal counsel, and the cumulative effect of what he alleged were errors by the trial judge in summing up. The principal issues before this court were whether the trial judge failed to rule on an alleged denial of the appellant's right to an attorney, improperly delegated to the jury the issue of admissibility of his confession, failed to give an appropriate Edwards direction, and overall whether the summing up was unfair. The CCJ held that although the trial judge did not expressly rule on the alleged breach of the right to counsel, such a ruling could be properly implied from her detailed consideration of the evidence and her stated acceptance of the police officer's testimony. The court reaffirmed that trial judges should ordinarily give explicit rulings on constitutional claims, but found no irregularity in this case based on a holistic examination of her ruling. On the issue of improper delegation, the court rejected the appellant's argument that the trial judge improperly left admissibility to the jury. The court held that the judge had already ruled on admissibility during the voir dire, and that her subsequent directions were concerned with how the jury should assess the weight of the confession after defense counsel reopened the issue of voluntariness. The court further held that the direction requiring the jury to disregard the confession if they believed it was obtained in breach of the right to counsel, which the trial judge modeled on R against Mushtaq, was justified as being consistent with constitutional protections, Section 70 of the Evidence Act of Barbados, and evolving regional and universal human rights standards. Regarding the alleged failure to give an Edwards direction, the CCJ found that such a direction was not strictly necessary because the prosecution's case did not depend solely on a disputed confession. In any event, the trial judge had adequately warned the jury about the dangers of relying on an unacknowledged oral statement and the need for caution. Finally, the court concluded that overall, the summing up was fair and, in some respects, even favorable to the appellant. It emphasized that the circumstantial evidence against the appellant was strong and compelling. Accordingly, the CCJ dismissed the appeal and affirmed the conviction and sentence.
Thank you very much, Justice Balkan. Is there anything from counsel? Counsel for the appellant? Mr. Gordon?
Your Honor, I have nothing to.
Thank
No,
you
Your
very
Honor,
much.
I have nothing to contribute at this stage.
Thank you very much. Turn is for the respondent.
Nothing from us, Your Honors. Much
Wonderful.
obliged.
Well, thank you all very much. I should emphasize that the judgment of the court was a unanimous judgment, which included those of us in court and also the Honorable Justice Peter Jamadar, who is unavoidably absent from these proceedings. Madam Deputy Registrar, would you please close the proceedings?
Thank you, President Anderson. Thank you, Madam Justice Rajnatli. Thank you, Madam Justice Onowu. Thank you, Mr. Justice Balkan. Thank you, Counsel, and thank you to the staff of the Caribbean Court of Justice. It is Friday, and I wish you a very safe and wonderful weekend. And this court now stands adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Registrar.
Thank you. Good afternoon.